Everyone. My name is Stephanie Streck, and I teach math in the Neenah Joint School District. And I wanted to pop on and talk to you today about ways that you could engage your child in some math learning while you're at home. And so today I just have two dice. If you have a board game that have some dice in it, you could use that. Or if you don't have a dice, you could download a free dice app. There are a lot of them. I think there's one called Basic Dice, and you can download and get multiple different dice and colors. But what we're going to do is just think about adding some numbers together. So you can roll these and say, all right, I have 2 and 1, that's 3. Now it's your roll. And you got 5 and 2. Some students, as a progression of learning, will start and count all 5 and then count 2 more. As your child progresses and gets more confident with dot patterns and numbers, they might be able to see this is 5, and then they can count 6, 7. While it feels as parents that we want to discourage our child from one-to-one correspondence counting, it actually is a helpful tool to get them to see that. Now, if they were to roll this and this, and they counted all 5 and stopped, you could say, if that's 5, what do you think this is? And then maybe they would be able to say, oh, 5 and 5 is 10. Or maybe they'd say, well, that's also 5, but then they'd need to count them to get them all together. Another tip I have for you as a parent is if they roll this and they say 5, 6, and then you ask, how many is that? And they don't say 6, but they count it again. You know that that's a strategy that they can keep working on, counting and quantifying, and then saying the numerical number that goes with the quantity that they rolled. You can make this more difficult as you notice that your child is they're more confident in their counting. You could add a third dice if you wanted to. Another thing you could do, especially if you have 2 colors, is to think about, I'm going to make this 50. So now I have 51. That's another thing that you could think about. Say this is going to be in the tens place, and maybe even on your board, you create a little square that shows that this is going to be your tens and this is going to be your ones. And you might even say, like, if it's blue, it's going to be my tens and this is going to be my ones. And I know that my tens have a 0 after them. Some people even say, like, oh, it's going to be 50 plus, right? So I have a 5 and a 0 plus a 1. That's 51. Now you roll. You have 41. Another thing you could do, instead of showing that they're like which color has to go where, is to roll and say, what's the biggest number you could make with your roll? Obviously, with 3 dice, you could make a 3-digit number. 4 dice, you could make a 4-digit number. You are only going to know what your child is capable of by trying these things out. If you have 1 dice and they count and say that's 5, you can have them make sure to touch each spot to recount it and to check. Be careful to not say yes or no right away, but ask questions like, are you sure? How do you know? All of these things will create a lifelong learner in your child, instead of feeling like they're good at math or they're not good at math. By asking questions and probing into it, you'll help them to realize that they can determine their potential as math students. So all you need are some dice, and you can change the game however you want. Right? It started with just adding up the dice we have here. Then we progressed it to saying, well, now we're going to have tens and ones. So there's a lot of different options for you to try with dice. Just remember that one-to-one correspondence is the first step in becoming really fluid with number ID, as well as conceptual understanding of the size of numbers and just understanding number sense. If they can start to figure out place value and know tens and ones, that will grow into hundreds and thousands. And in their future career, it'll grow to decimals. And we can talk about money as they progress. But this foundation of numbers is so important. So I hope that with a few dice, you and your child will have a full, fun day of learning and counting.